Nightwing, number 128, written by Dan Waters, art by Dexter Soy.
Okay.
What you got?
How are you with Nightwing? Were you a big fan of the Tom Taylor stuff?
I didn't read it, but I listened carefully when you guys talked about it. I was into the story tangentially.
Okay. So here's my thing with Dan Waters. I love how much he is this feels like an extension of Taylor's run in ways, because he's taking things that Taylor had done, like here, Deathwing, and that whole concept. And he's bringing it back in a fun way. So I know there's some people that had issues with the Tom Taylor stuff, but you know, to each their own. But just the way that Dan Waters, instead of doing the typical, oh, I'm just going to do my own thing, I'm going to get rid of some of these things. He's just like, no, his sister's still the mayor. He still is doing the money thing as Grayson. And, oh yeah, Titan Tower is still in Bloodhaven. And now we're going to run a whole story and turn it into a House of Horrors with the, you know, Cronenbergized fifth dimensional imp.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's the biggest thing with Tom Taylor is the fact that, you know, he made Nightmite. And then we're just basing an entire story arc around him now. Yep. It's just like, yeah, sure, why not?
That said, you know, we always joke that, you know, if the people are listening, right, if the creators. So Dan Waters, if you're listening, please leave the pirate stuff back. We don't got to touch that again.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would do wonderful things with it. You've done wonderful. I mean, here is my current favorite Batman book in Dark Patterns. So I'm sure there's great things, but I think we're okay with Nightwing not dealing with pirates anymore. So, but yeah, this book was a trip. Like reading The World's Finest after reading this, also I don't think did it a lot of favors because they're kind of similar,
right?
In that this also starts out as a horror book, and it goes to some really horrific places. Yeah, man, Deathwing, Nightwing Prime, we get some of that. And it's Nightwing going through Titan's Tower trying to rescue the princess.
Yeah.
You know? And in this case, the princess is Oracle.
So I don't remember Nightwing Prime being part of Taylor's thing. Is this a general?
No.
All right.
This is a general thing where it is that Nightwing took his name from the stories that Superman had told him about the hero of Kandor. So I feel like this is just something that's taken from Nightwing.
Okay.
But yeah.
Which makes sense because Batmite is implicitly just like, yeah, all right, I'm just going to pull for every part of his history and make a crazy funhouse out of it.
Yeah, and if you wanted to read too, this is kind of like what fandom can do to somebody as well, right? Because it's the circus guy, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Zani. Zani doing this to Nightmite, right, is he's almost using Nightmite's fandom for Nightwing against him, right? We have these different versions of Nightwing coming after trying to stop him. And essentially to keep him busy to take him off the board for whatever else they're planning to do with Melinda. Right? And the circus, because in the last issue where it's revealed that Zani can do this to Nightmite, it makes me wonder what the hell can do this to a fifth dimensional imp.
Yeah.
Right? And that only gets driven more by when we have the lady, what's her name? Olivia Pierce. When we have her kind of giving Nightwing the rundown through there while the mystery of when she pulled off her face, what did Melinda see that made her end up in the hospital?
Right.
Right. So there's all these layers underneath at play. And yeah, man, Waters is really good.
Yeah. No, I wasn't keeping up with Nightwing for Dan Waters' run and so much as reading it. Of course, I was listening when you guys talked about it, but I really do like how this issue is played out, at least from the beginning, from the perspective of Nightwing Prime. And it's played as if this thing of like, this world inside Titan's Tower, for however you want to phrase it, has always existed. It's always been this way. And so you get him talking about how he's a hero who's been protecting the peace here for centuries and whatnot. And also the idea is that geographically, he's named all these areas based around like what room they're in. So he talks about all these horrific battles he's had in the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I eat Taco Bell too, so I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But yeah, just the way he sets it up too. So then came the alert somebody has walked through the front door, and it makes Nightwing seem like this big threat. So you know what you're in for when as he goes.
Yeah, and then obviously as we get through the issue, he meets up with Nightwing Prime. They talk for a minute, and Dick makes it clear, like, hey, I'm pretty sure that everything in here was just made up by my imp. So odds are you're not actually the real Nightwing Prime. You're just a creation. And I love the 2 panels here is that he just takes a moment and like rests on that. And he's like, all right, doesn't matter. I still have to do the right thing anyway. And he decides to escort Dick over to the elevators, which can bring him up to the top of the tower.
To meet the Beast of Titanus. And I was like, what the hell could be the Beast of Titanus?
As soon as the moment they said it, the moment they said Beast of Titanus, I'm like, okay, it has to be something from Dick Grayson's past. Beast Boy is too obvious. It can't be just another Titan. What is another creature that has some sort of relevance? And I was like, oh, it's the dog. It's got to be the dog.
It's Bitewing.
Yeah.
And poor Haley. Haley's, big giant kaiju version of herself.
I do wonder if that's kind of Bite Mite's perception of it, where it's like, no, I want to be the sidekick. I want to be the one that you care about. This dog sucks. Look, it's hideous. It's gross. Right?
Well, and it's also like if this is a twisted version of Nightmite, because he's not controlling it, it's almost using Dick's fears against himself. Right? Because if you look at what Nightwing Prime does with him, it's almost like his legacy has betrayed him, right? This is the original, and he'll never be able to live up to that standard that Bruce and Superman had set. And then when they're going through and you have what are they called? They're done in the kid style.
Oh, it's his original drawing for his Robin outfit.
Yes. The sketch archers.
Yes.
And yeah, they look like little kid sketches, right? And he's got a red hood, like Robin Hood, and stuff. And again, this is his like childlike wonder in his searching for who he is, right? Because he says that they're hunter-gatherers. So yeah, it's almost like Nightwing is taking an inner journey of who he is, but it's actually all playing out in front of him, right? So instead of it all being in his head, it's all in this one place.
I hate to make this comparison, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of what theoretically the Night Terrors line should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been like that same sort of house. And I think Nightwing was one of the few that really made it out of that. If I'm remembering correctly, I feel like he had a decent one out of that event.
I can't remember if that was that one or... I know Dan Waters did the which again, shouldn't be surprised, it's Dan Waters. I know Dan Waters did the detective one.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And that one was solid.
Yeah.
The Nightwing one, I remember not... I think I read the first issue and then I was like, I'm not doing this.
All right. Well, maybe it's
super weird.
Maybe
it wasn't the Nightwing one
in one of my boxes, and I will never pull it out again.
Yes, but then again, like you said, it does feel like Night Terrors, and then I think of Dan Waters' issue there, and I was like, oh yeah, no, he was playing with the idea of cosmic horror in Gotham, and now we're getting cosmic horror in Bloodhaven.
Yeah,
so that does check out. I forgot about that, so that's a good pull. I also love all of the stuff here with, all the Nightwing stuff's great, but then we get Melinda and Sawyer in the hospital room, and Melinda's trying to make sense of everything. And just the fact that she's supposed to be the one that's in charge, right? She's the mayor, yet she's let her brother go into this thing. Not let, but, her not being around is kind of...
exacerbating
the issues. Yeah. And again, what did she see? What did Pierce show her with the face? I got to know.
I like how that conversation ends where Sawyer's like, look, because they get into the whole thing, which seems like it's going to be the arc for Melinda more or less, which is how she thinks that humans, normal, average people are on their way out, and they just have to kind of go by the whims of these heroes, let them do whatever, and just trust they're in good hands. And Sawyer's just basically like, nah, hey, that's not the case. I mean, look at your brother. Your brother's doing great things for Bloodhaven. And Melinda just cracks up, and Sawyer's like, what'd I say? What's so funny about that?
Yep. But yeah, and the whole this is a world of horrors, but humanity's been holding our own for 300,000 years.
Mhm.
But it's like also as a DC fan, I know there's always been heroes, right? Like
Right.
it goes back, just the caveman times.
Mhm.
So yeah, just a whole statement on that and being strong, and just the fact that Dick is the heart and the soul of the DCU,
Mhm.
right? So if there's someone that's going to be able to pull them out of the horrors, right? I don't think of anyone else better.
Yeah.
Than Nightwing.
Yeah.
So
I
so-
do wonder what the end game here is, though. Obviously, he gets up to Bite Mite, but I'm wondering what's going to be able to pull Bite Mite out of this. Like, how are we going to be able to get him fixed here?
yeah, it's the whole fifth dimensional, right?
Hmm.
Thing. I don't know how his rules are, if they're any different than Mixapitalic, right?
Hmm.
So maybe it's going to be the fact that Nightwing has to inspire him as he always has, right?
Yeah.
He's got to get him to pull himself literally together. I mean, Oracle's still around somewhere, right?
True.
Because we got to get to her
Yeah.
too. So I feel like that might be another obstacle. Maybe Oracle also will be able to help, right? Just like their power together is what we need.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Zani has definitely done a whole number on Nightmite. So who we?
All right.
but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this issue.
Yeah. What are you going to rate it then?
I'm gonna use an 8.5.
All right. I think I'm going to be a little more reserved, but that's mainly just because I haven't been reading Nightwing. I feel like I'd be a little bit more attached to it, but I'm still going to give it an 8. I do think it is the art is solid, and the fact that it can introduce these characters again to what is potentially a new audience, and it doesn't feel overstuffed or half-baked, I think is just credit to the writer as a whole.